Hello people, welcome to Aurora IAS. Yet another interesting topic on corporate social responsibility will be dealt in this video session. What is corporate social responsibility? The guy in the black suit in the picture has some responsibilities weighing on his hand. What are those? Ethics, responsibility, sustainability and resources management with a long-term perspective, sincerity as well as the market dynamics. All in all is a corporate social responsibility with a definition that it is an obligation to the decision makers to take such actions that will benefit the welfare of the society. What is corporate social responsibility in actual is, for example, take a company like a Classmate. You all like and I like, everybody likes the kind of the quality of the books Classmate produces, right? In one of his board directors meeting, some of the members come up with an idea that we are making huge profits. We are growing day by day. Our brand value is also growing day by day. There is a very stagnant kind of a phase going on. Why don't we invest these funds on some social welfare measures? Like there is a village near the Gulbarga sector 21, which is deteriorating. The kind of quality of education services deteriorating day by day. They don't have teachers, they don't have good roads, they don't have good books. So let's start distributing good books to them. On a social perspective, they went and distributed some books. They found out that the teachers don't come on time, so they have hired some contract teachers in the schools near the villages, and they have been imparting good education. Then they have understood that there are no lack of communication wise, transport and communication is lacking in that place. So they went on to build some roads to commute, for the children to commute from the schools to the homes, right? So all in all, this is a corporate social responsibility. These people have understood that they are taking everything from the society. They have got all these resources from the forest, resources for the environment itself. So why not do something for the society on a social cause? This might be a philanthropic, but what they show is they are spending some of the funds of the from their own company towards such kind of an activities. This is a social responsibility from the corporate sector side. That is why corporate social responsibility term has been given. Eventually we'll understand more about it in the next coming pages of the PDF. So the next thing is that Japan has a classic style of dealing with the business ethics. No matter whichever aspect of ethics you will consider, Japan is a very good case study. The case study of this Japan style, it has some a style of corporate social responsibility by giving importance to the human resource, health, safety procedures as a core value of its business ethics. It integrates high meetings, training activities, zero accident standards, and behavioral as well as engineering orientations for promoting the safety and health of these employees at their workplaces. So that is where this business ethics comes into role. And what kind of companies' activities will impact the social responsibility is what we'll understand eventually. So the company's social responsibility will include beyond the law commitments. They have various laws they have to abide by through the mechanisms of the legal rules and regulations of the land. But apart from that, they have something more like a social responsibility. What are those? They have these governance and ethics standards. They have to have these annual board meetings and give out the disclosures to all the stakeholders or the shareholders that what company is going through up and downs and all that kind of information, as well as health and safety of this workplace workers, environmental stewardship, human rights including the labor rights, sustainable development, community development for a customer satisfaction, adhere to the principles of the fair competition, as well as accountability, transparency and performance, whatnot. There are many other points, but there are two kinds of an aspects that corporate social responsibility always deals with. One is reducing the negative effects, like they have to neutralize their effects with the community they are interrelated with. Next is increasing the positive contributions, like their funding. The same way, like the Classmates people have went to this village and distributed the notebooks and laid down the roads. This is kind of a positive contribution. The genesis might not form an important thing for your course as such in the GS paper 4, but to have a very brief understanding of the issue when this concept has taken the genesis into the Indian context is where in 1960s the social movements and the civil rights and many other kind of environmentalism has been going on. Overall the world itself. So that is where the corporate social responsibility theme has been generated. As well, the responsibility has been converted into responsiveness in 1970s, as well as the performance wise when these corporate entities have been investing in social projects has developed in 1970s. With the LPG reforms, it has just increased its vastness. There are three kinds of responsibilities which is a very crucial for this topic. One is economic responsibility. They have to make profits at the end of the day, because they have to give it back to the shareholders who are investing into their companies, all the operational creditors also, to get back to the profits onto the board members wise. Then they have a next responsibility of legal responsibility. Legal responsibility is that they pay taxes on time, they give back all the employers the right amount of salary according to the Wages Act, or the employers insurance schemes based on it, right? That is the legal responsibility. The main important responsibility is the voluntary and discretionary responsibilities of the corporates in this particular topic of CSR with respect to the ethics paper. The voluntary, for example, take for example this Ronald McDonald House. These people, the McDonald House, the McDonald company itself, they have constructed few houses around the hospitals where if there are ill children who are admitted into the hospitals, the families who come to look after them have to stay in a very rich hotels paying exorbitant rents. So what these people have done, they have built some houses where the families can stay days together there after and get back to their work after their children gets discharged from the hospital. This is a voluntary as well as a discretionary responsibility. This is in fact the corporate social responsibility. Next are the ethical issues, which is the very important aspect of the CSR. In fact, this is the only aspect that we should be focusing on, rather than what is a kind of a statutory or the legal framework of CSR existing in the Indian context. But the ethical issues is nothing but from the top level management to the employees at all levels, ethics is everybody's business. It is nothing but the do's and don'ts by the business ethics. This is highly diverse. There are highly diverse groups in the community that the business community engages with to understand each and every social aspect and satisfy their customers' need is through this corporate social responsibility. The right thing will be done when only ethics is available in the business community. The business community is not just about the interactions with the large context, but the one-to-one dealings with a single customer to have a justification for economic, ecological and social spheres. The 3P concept of this corporate social responsibility, very, very important. Never miss this point in any kind of an answer, even if it comes in the GS paper 2, 3 or 4, is people, planet, profit approach. The same thing which I've told you, like the classmate notebook case, you can quote down the example. Not just this, you can add on any other example also. The Tatas have been doing a tremendous work in case of Odisha. They have been laying pipelines for a good water delivery into the Naxal affected areas. Water quality services have been improved because of this. They have started these desalination plants at various other places where groundwater resources have been totally going down due to salinization by the nearby coastal areas. So these kind of examples from the day-to-day observations around you can be quoted. So the next one is that these value systems have made us to behave in a proper way, having fairness, honesty, respect and responsibility. This is where the corporate social responsibility comes from. This is where it is interlinked to the ethics portion. Ethics is the way of doing a thing right. From where does it come? Your value system. The value system has its responsibility. The value system responsibility, when it is joined with the corporate sector, that is corporate social responsibility. A very important case of the Union Carbide case, where the methyl isocyanate has leaked from one of its pipe, and even today the people are suffering from kind of a mental and the internal organs illness that has caused a generational loss in this area of Bhopal, which we all aware of. This can be quoted as a negative practice of a company where there is no business ethics for the people, although the leak has been intentional or unintentional, whatever the purpose is, but the consequences, at least a kind of a responsibility should be shown by the company, where it has escaped all the legal loopholes of the country as well as the social loopholes. So this is where the value system plays a very important role in any kind of a company. And the basic philosophy for this corporate social responsibility is the Gandhiji's concept of trusteeship. All the company are to act as a trustees, as a trust for the people's confidence and their mutual benefit of the welfare of the society lies in the trusteeship concept, where the corporate social responsibility also takes its root from. Next, we go on to the present scenario. The present scenario has changed a lot after the 1991 LPG reforms. Corruption, favoritism, nepotism, deterioration of the human values, scams in the business entities, or the policies and the society, everything has changed. It has produced a new generation of 21st century. There is a loss of faith in the instruments of the society, whether human, financial, technical, whatsoever. Day by day, Indians are also losing the kind of a faith in the laws and court system. So where does this outer backing come from for a kind of a stricter social responsibility? It comes within the business ethics. The business ethics should be strengthened within the corporate sector so that a welfare of the society, for a positive kind of a contribution from the corporates to the society, will be strengthened with a kind of a right approach in the business ethics. So at one side we are coping up with the intense competition, on the other side we are violating all the public conduct principles. So kind of mounting scandals we should be adopting kind of an ethical conduct and code of ethics within the corporate sector. That is the need of the hour. So in kind of child labor, environmental concerns, human rights issues, societal problems, health hazards, everywhere the society at large has to be helped by these kind of a corporate sector. Because in a way, if you're setting a industry, suppose kind of Ambuja Cement sets up a cement industry, the overall area around this village or around the city in 10 kilometers radar is being spoiled. The environmental pollution, the water table degradation has been happening because of this setting of the industry. So it has a moral responsibility, at least have a water treatment plant at this location, or give 25% or 30% of jobs to the local areas. So these are kind of social responsibility measures you're doing in order to have a kind of a in a kind of a corporate responsibility towards the society, right? With this, what kind of a benefits the corporate also gain? It gains the confidence and trust in the marketplace. The visibility of the organization increases. The kind of innovation, shareholder value, human resources, everything is managed with this kind of a business ethics. The global customers are now demanding social responsibility, community involvement as a greater stake. So now what is happening in Indian sector is a total different game altogether. Indian corporations not only are dealing with the business ethically, but also in a way they're effectively dealing with the environmental concerns as well as the social responsibility concerns also. So there are two kinds of theory or kinds of ideology people possess towards this corporate social responsibility. One is argument favoring the corporate social responsibility. Yes, we need to go for the corporate social responsibility. Corporates have a social responsibility to devolve their funds. For why do they argue for it? Because they say that people needs and expectations are changing. We have a moral obligation, limited resources, so sustainability of the resources is only when there is a mutual balance between the community and the corporates. There is a long-term profit, and then you have to discouragement of any further government regulations. For that, at least you have to do this corporate social responsibility, balance with a power, a public image, useful resources, and prevention before any kind of a disaster occurs is through the corporate social responsibility. One school of thought will argue. So the diagram here is a beautiful example for justifying whatever we have done till now. One is on employee side. Committed employees will be there. Diversity, global thinking, because these people have to select the areas of where they have to give the funds, positive contributions through the CSR funds of the company. The next way is customers. You will have build a very good brand image, good long-term relationships with the customers, which will enhance your sustainability in a long run. And next is the civil society. You are serving the civil society because you have to act and ethically and responsibly with a kind of an academic and scientific communities. You establish a partnership, as well as the important component is environment. You develop an ecological footprint for the manufacturers and comply with the regulatory requirements. So this all in all is a chart representing why we need to go to a social responsibility corporate social responsibility kind of themes. And next, another school will also say that we will not go for this kind of an setup. It says that we want profit maximization, we want cost of social involvement is too high. If you have to invest in a hospital, it is better than that I invent some kind of innovation in my product itself that will give me more profit. Then weakened international balance of payments because the trade wars crisis is going on. Why should I invest my funds in something else, because I am actually not making those kind of profits in today's times. And then businesses have enough power to manage the sustainability, even though if you are not doing the corporate social responsibility themes. And the social skills, we don't have social skills, we have managerial and technical skills. And then there is a lack of accountability always. This is why there have been inability in the corporate sector to make the moral choices. In the positive connotation, we have few examples where the companies have been doing really great works in the social community sector, is where Indal Gujarat Ambuja Cements and Wipro have been running community schools and buildings and hospitals. ACC Cement also for the since the 5 decades it has been doing for agro-based industries. Health centers have been improving the rural life. BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electronics Limited, has been doing the same kind of works like the water facilities, education facilities. Tisco, Telco, Hindalco, ONGC is also adopting few villages under the vision of Dr. late Abdul Kalam ji's ideas of Pura. Provision of urban amenities in the rural areas. So ONGC is also adopting some villages to convert these rural villages into urban amenities centers. So NTPC has also been doing, then Wipro, Infosys also have been increasing their reliance on it. You must have seen this PNG products, right? You will observe kind of the different products you purchase. Every rupee out of this purchase, every rupee out, suppose you are purchasing a Pantene shampoo for 70 rupees, the 1 rupee from that fund goes into a Akshay Patra or kind of a schemes, midday meal schemes, or any other social welfare schemes of the government. So this is where you have to understand that corporate social responsibility is what, from your own real life examples itself, you can understand and write up a 150 or 250 word answer. Some negative connotations are also there. It is not, grass is not greener on only one side, on all sides it's only on one side, the other side is not greener. Let's see what, like if you see a Lipton company, the tea company in Uttar Pradesh, what it had done it has established veterinary hospitals only because it wants tea, the milk will be generated from the kind of good services if you provide to the veterinary animals. So the veterinary services hospitals have been done. It's a purely not an ethical concept, because you're doing out of a profit motive, on a long-term profit motive you're doing it. And next one, Hindustan Liver, also good quality water, because it wants to improve the water to all these communities around it. And then ITC also is afforesting a degraded land only to have a paper factory in near future. So what kind of a business ethics? Is it ethical? It is failing its mandate. So what is needed? We need a right kind of a framework in a country. So what is already the kind of framework existing in India? Let's see that. The framework existing in India is that according to the Companies Act of 2013, it says that 2% of the average profits of the previous 3 years should be given to the CSR activities in India. So who are those companies? Net worth of more than 500 turnover or over 1000 net profit. So these are the companies they have to invest. But what they have to invest in? The Companies Act 2013 lists out. One, it says hunger or poverty programs, education, gender equality, child mortality, maternal health, HIV, immune deficiency syndromes, malaria, environmental sustainability. And the basic thing is that the bigger part is that you can also make a contribution. The corporate sector can make a contribution to the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund, and this is the lacuna of the law, that because there is a provision of PM's National Relief Fund, the 74% of the funds from the CSR responsibility, when it has been made mandatory since the 2013 Act, the 74% of the funds are coming only to this. Imagine the classmate company, rather than going and investing in a village near Dwarka sector, it's better to directly IMPS, instant money transfer program, instant money transfer through that thing. They can just deposit 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs into this PM relief fund, which is easier for them. Just to transfer into the account of the PM's relief fund is much easier than rather than going there, analyzing the situation and building some roads and schools and toilets and all these kind of programs. So this is where the program is lacking. A main clause is that there is no responsibility. The kind of ethical standards the government, the corporate incorporates into its business ethics is lacking. So the next one is that recently, August 17, 2019 itself, it has said that some amendments have been made to this Companies Act, making it's a very mandatory compliance. When you don't comply with this law, when you don't invest in social welfare projects, then you will be landing in jail with 25 lakh hefty fines as well as 5 lakh for the officer in default. So how to make it? Finally, we have all the frameworks, we have the statutory, legal, whatsoever. You think this kind of laws will make any kind of an very great impact, very subsequent or very early impact? The basic impact comes from within the organizations. It has to act ethically. So the business ethics is a very important topic in today's world of economics. So how to make a CSR work is a generalized but yet a very powerful ending for your answer. Like, code of ethics have to be communicated to your employees. Make them understand that kind of projects they are choosing for the CSR fund contributions have to be very, very wisely chosen. Not that you have to directly go and deposit in PM Relief Fund account online. Go and analyze the situation at which places where you are impacting, at least give back to the society. Then next is the employees are formally trained in such kind of, you need to have great social skills for analyzing such situations. You have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to have a sympathy, compassion towards the weaker sections of the society where you're trying to devolve these funds to. Then the code is implemented strongly to be for a social responsible corporations, as well as integrate your public governance for a better results. With the corporate must create an inclusive agenda. This is the agenda of the government in place today. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. End your answer with this beautiful line from the government agenda. So that is all for this corporate governance. And while we end, there is another chart which I can show you. The CSR roadmap lies where is first you define your goals, like which all sectors you want to cater to through the funds. Then engage your seniors and all your employees, executives. Integrate those strategy in your business. Take that. The PNG Products has taken it, and he said that every 1 rupee, every 1% purchases a product of its PNG services will go back into the people's midday meal scheme or any other scheme. So that is integrate those strategies and then create a partnership with the non-profits organizations. Engage with an NGO. Tell them that we are going to give you funds because if you are lacking the social skills, at least engage with such kind of a non-profit organizations for a better understanding of where you can actually spend your contributions to. And finally, provide a transparent and candid reporting. Give out the reports, annual reports, very transparent and very accountable standards to be adopted so that an inclusive society can be built. So Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So that is all for the actual discussion, and we always have a questions for answer writing, and here not much questions can be prepared, only an ethical aspect of the corporate social responsibility can be seen. So I have made a question like, is CSR ethical and sustainable? Discuss with emphasis on the Gandhiji's concept of trusteeship. So the model answer would go as how to define as a corporate social responsibility the self-regulating businesses that are accountable to the stakeholders as well as the public. It's a philanthropic concept, where Kautilya, Socrates, Plato, everybody has emphasized like the company should give back to the society in the form of the theories. Then corporate social responsibility realization in India cannot be succeeded in isolation. It has to have a social progress and sustainable growth, like education, health, environmental, many other initiatives have to be coming up. So examples like you can quote from the PDF, like this session itself, which I've already discussed. And then there are some dangers to the CSR, as it is eroding the public values, like it is managing or advertising those executives, like you're picking up very minute social issues that could give you a leverage for your brand image. That shouldn't happen. Then most of the companies are into public relations and marketing only. There are no ethics in that standards. Then you have to create a moral image for yourself as well as the firms and for the community as well. So there is a case of ICICI recent scandal where Chanda Kochar was diverting their funds, important funds, to the Videocon because her husband is into the Videocon group. That is in a kind of a favoritism she's showing, and the diversion of the funds for non-social components. And there is a Volkswagen case also recently which happened, like they tweaked their emission control standards and later they have apologized. This shows a very negative connotation on the brand image also. So the way forward is nothing but you have to have a transparent activities, train your personnel for a good kind of an ethical code into the company, and having integrated all the aspects of social welfare into your business ethics. That is where the truly benefiting of society through this corporate social responsibility would come from. So conclude it by saying that its CSR should be the DNA of any organization. For a successful ventureship, you have to give back to the society, not just always take it. You are not no more capitalistic. You have to be a liberal as well as kind of socialistic kind of a society. Give it back to the society for a positive impact on communities, cultures, society and environment. So this is all for the session of corporate social responsibility. So this diagram justifies whatever I have dealt in this class. So that is all. Stay blessed and stay happy and always keep studying. मेहनत करो और मंजिल तक पहुंच जाओ. जय हिंद.